What if I told you that a large chunk of your stress may be coming from one thing? What if I told you that that thing can be changed right now, and I mean actually right now? What if I told you that this change is easier to make than you probably think? Would you do it? How many times have you had a conversation that's gotten just a little too heated? The chances are you've either had to back down due to fear of escalation, or you matched their energy in order to assert yourself. If you're afraid of confrontation, there's a chance you aren't able to fully say what you're thinking. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. You don't have to pick every fight, but imagine being able to speak your mind without fear of escalation, assuming, of course, that the other person is somewhat reasonable. If you're the more assertive type, chances are your reaction to conflict has gotten you in more trouble than you'd like to admit. Your initial response when the conversation isn't going well is to most likely try and escalate your tone and see if they'll back down. This, of course, backfires when the other person matches your commitment and things end up escalating. Now you're both involved in a conflict far more serious than it needs to be. Your pride convinces you that every situation deserves a reaction. Backing down feels cowardly, as if you're allowing the other person to win the exchange, no matter how small or insignificant it is. We're taught to react because it's in almost everything we see. Social media, advertisements, films, and television. How boring would a film be if it didn't have conflict? The urge to react to everything has become so normalized that for a lot of us, it's our first instinct. Get a parking ticket? Let it bother you the rest of the week. Customer service had you on hold for too long? Make sure you scold them for the inconvenience. Disagree with the political take? Seethe at the difference in opinion and commit to arguing with them. After all, they need to know they're wrong. It's not like their opinions were formed from years or even decades of lifestyle choices, media consumption, and influence via their social circles. There's really no right way to have an argument. It's all just pointless. Don't get me wrong, if you feel disrespected, you should stand up for yourself. The problem is that we react to almost everything with significantly more energy than is actually needed. How often do you replay arguments in the shower or kick yourself for not having the right comeback when it mattered?
You play ball like a girl!
These insignificant moments in your life can take up way more rent in your head than they should. Prioritize your peace of mind. It makes life so much easier. Communication should be easy. It should be a healthy exchange between two people. An open dialogue shouldn't be avoided because one or the other is scared of conflict. A lot of the time, it's a simple miscommunication that sparks it. An unnoticed increase in tone or a comment that hits too close to home.
You're being so much like your father.
Do not compare me to my father.
I didn't compare you to him. I said you were acting like him.
These are things you should be aware of when speaking with someone else. You don't need to jump to insults or aggression when a disagreement happens. The bad news is, you can't change everyone else, but you can work on yourself. Adjusting your tone and response is key to avoiding conflict. You're able to speak your mind more clearly because neither of you have your fight or flight response flipped on, and as long as they aren't being unreasonably difficult, you'll have a much easier time speaking to one another. Let's dive just a little bit deeper. The average couple argues 7 times a day. Crazy, right? In an article published by the Journal of Family Psychology, a team of Dutch researchers found that couples who practiced positive problem-solving skills with each other had children who demonstrated these positive skills towards their parents as soon as 2 years down the line. But that's not the only effect it has on their development. An increase in social skills, better sleep habits, less anxiety, lower risk of depression, and the best part is, it isn't limited to kids. The benefit of a healthy approach to communication affects everyone involved. You're probably thinking, well, wonderful. The modern day Stoic is going to preach to us about the dangers of conflict. Yeah, kind of. Take driving, for example, specifically road rage. We've all been angry enough to flip someone the bird, but did you know there's been a 500% increase in road rage incidents over the last 10 years? Want to hear the crazy part? It's linked to 30 murders a year. It's fine to be upset initially. I'm not saying your feelings aren't justified. It's just that dwelling on it isn't affecting anyone but yourself. You have a right to be upset about things, but how you react to them is entirely up to you. This theme can be better explained by the film The Big Lebowski. Now, Walter is a psychopath. He's very clearly dealing with some inner turmoil that he has no idea how to either process or direct. He's breathing heavily, there's a scowl on his face, he's cussing like a sailor. Contrast this with the dude who's calm, cool, unbothered. The dude is what society deems a slacker or degenerate, when in reality, he's been the communication crutch that Walter desperately needs. His arm is slung over the seat, and his reaction to Walter's almost psychotic tone and mannerisms are as if he's completely sure of his own safety. It's clear Walter has a ton of trouble communicating with regular people, and the dude has learned to navigate these troubled waters for the benefit of this relationship. The only person to really be scolded in this scene is Donnie, who's baited into bickering and is immediately met with hostility.
I am the walrus. Shut the up, Donnie.
Walter maintains this behavior throughout the entire film, a certainly exhausting level of emotion to keep up, heightened only by John Goodman's intimidating frame. Now, you can't expect for every conversation to mimic the dynamic between Walter and the dude. They're both opposite extremes, and instances like these are rare, especially if you're selective of who you spend time with. But it's also unwise to assume you'll never be put in this position at any point, given the nature of human beings. Most of us aren't actively seeking out conflict. All we can do is be prepared for it. Being baited constantly into arguments or allowing yourself to be upset is incredibly draining. You're not built to be upset 24/7, and it becomes difficult to enjoy things when your thoughts and judgment is clouded by incidents that, in the grand scheme of things, don't really matter at all. So yeah, pay that dumb parking ticket, ignore the guy online with the dumb opinion, and give your customer service representative a break. You should start seeing a difference almost immediately. This has been a Renzi production. Thank you for watching.